Hey everybody, welcome to Coffee with Chris. It's been a while since we've been out here. We're excited to be back. We're enjoying this beautiful fall weather, and as always, we like to try and make this fun to where we can have a little fun with you, and also informative and relevant. And so today we have a couple questions for Chris, and what we're going to talk about, it's interesting how in environments like this, when there's uncertainty, we all crave certainty. We want to create a scenario where we have predictability, but there is no way to predict the future. The only thing we can do is prepare and plan for it. So Chris, if there is no stimulus, as has been said in the last day, one day they talked about getting, scrapping the talks, and then the next day they came back out and said they're going to do. Who knows what's going to happen? Right. But if there's no stimulus,
there's no stimulus.
What do we do?
The markets are really moving on this week, or at least as we're recording this conversation, the markets are really moving. They tanked yesterday. There at the end of the day, they bounced big today on stimulus, no stimulus, negotiation, no negotiation, and I think that's a lot of bluff and bluster. I don't know that the markets are moving. They're moving on the headlines. I think there's some undercurrent that are moving on the technicals. So this is what's going on, or what we think is going on, is that on the underlying trend, the stock market's in a downtrend, which is exactly what we expect. It's exactly what we're talking about, that it should pull back, and it should pull back fairly deeply. That's based on technicals, okay? Now, stimulus being the big headline, first off, I don't believe we're going to get a stimulus package. I think there's too much of a political hot potato going on, and I think each side, Democrats and Republicans, want to get to blame each other from a stimulus standpoint. And that's just looking at this from looking at it, the economy, looking at the stock markets. That's not necessarily a political statement. And so I don't think we're going to get one. And when we don't get one, I believe that the market's going to revert right back to the technicals. It's going to pull back even deeper. The dollar's going to strengthen because of it. Now, the reverse of the question is, Chris, what would we, Dave, what if we got one? What if we did get a stimulus? What we believe will happen is that the stock market probably get a little bounce with it, but it's going to strengthen the dollar also, which is going to pull stocks back again. And so I think either way, the market is going to rotate back to its downtrend and continue this downward slide that it's been on for over a month now.
Right. And we have a plan for that either way.
We got a plan for that either way. Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, this year, anybody that's been able to come to the office in the past 6-7 months now, they've seen changes just in whether we're wearing a mask, depending on where you're eating. We've had the market in March go on. So we've done a few different things here at Sound.
Yes.
Can you explain to everybody listening, the difference between the beginning of this year and now? But just at Sound. Just at Sound.
Come on, let's narrow the topic, Josh. I mean, we don't have much time. I mean, gracious.
2020 has
we
been an
all
interesting
know what's
year.
happened. It's been a nuts year. You look at the news and it looks like a dumpster fire. It's chaotic. It's chaotic. And we talk about this on the Chase a lot, but you can look at the Bible, and it says times like this are going to happen. And what I love about Scripture and God's Word said, hey, this kind of stuff's going to happen. Be prepared and don't be surprised. Trust the Lord. Don't trust yourself. Don't trust money. And that, to me, has just driven that point home this year so much more. And I know that no one wants me preaching a sermon right now, so I'll get off of that topic.
So one thing
topic.
that I just thought about,
What's that?
we cannot predict the future.
Yes.
But we can prepare and we can plan, and then we need to pray.
I put pray it to first, and then prepare and plan.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I like
Either
that.
way, we need to pray.
Dave, you and your P's. You always in your analogies. Okay.
You knew I was going to come up with something.
You come up there. It's your 3 P's. 4.
Yeah.
Is that 4 now?
Squeezing a
All right,
fourth.
all right. So what have we done differently? Now I think that when we see this year has been the rotation in the market that we expected. That we're seeing the rollover from a long bull market down through a recession, down through a bear market, and it should rotate into early bull market, to an early bull market phase into a recovery phase. We've said this in other talks, we've said this in other writings, that if we get the business cycle right, we will get the markets right. And I believe that's quoting Ray Dalio. Is that, you're the big Ray Dalio fan? Am I right on that quote?
Yeah.
And so if we get that right, and we're seeing that, that's what we're seeing take place. So what we're doing is we've rebuilt models to be able to rotate into value, rotate into small caps, rotate into commodities like gold, maybe rotate into some positions like real estate, rotate into some international positions, developed and emerging, okay? And we're measuring the markets. We're waiting for an oversold condition. So as this downward trend that we're just talking about, as that stock market ticks down, we're going to be measuring that to see when a good time to be to rotate into these new models. Okay. And so really from a market fact standpoint, market fundamental standpoint, I think we're seeing what we expected this year. Really nothing of this year from a market standpoint caught us by surprise except for the huge pandemic event. And that you can't plan for that. That's something that is just so over the top that you just can't plan for. And it kind of sounds funny to say it that way, that it didn't take us by surprise. Of course, a global pandemic did. A lot of the political and social unrest afterwards, none of that can be planned for. But from a market technical standpoint, this markets trend. They go up, they go down, and we want to be able to use a rules-based system to flow in and out with them. And that's what we're doing.
All right. Well, like Dave said, we really want to make sure that these are as on point as possible for you, that they're fun.
Judge, do you know what that is?
That appears to be a Canadian puck.
A Canadian hockey puck.
It even says made in Canada.
It does say made in Canada.
We have a puck and a duck, and we got bullets. And
20 Mike Knights.
This is nuts. Close this up.
Well, thank you for joining in. Please like and subscribe. Go on YouTube. Follow us. We're trying to build everything up so we can be able to be seen a little bit better as we go forward. But we hope you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you soon.